I think I've done it. An ideal wardrobe that works for my goals when it comes to learning minimalism. Welcome to Get It Together, and if you're new here, this channel is just me trying to figure out how to get my life together and sharing the tips and lessons I learned along the way. And as you may remember from the very first video of this series about learning minimalism, I counted and took an individual photo of everything that I own. I'll link that video right up here, but when it comes to clothing, anything that's worn, the total tally from that first video was 275 items, from head to toe, from hats to socks and shoes, and everything in between. And that, to me, was definitely not cool. And I can't wait for the end of this video where I have the final tally of this new minimal wardrobe. Diving right into section 1 of this video, which is all about my goals when it comes to a minimalist wardrobe. There were a few targets that I put in place when I was planning for this wardrobe. Now, one of the reasons why I don't necessarily like the term minimalism is because it has some strange connotations with it. And one of those connotations, or stereotypes rather, is that minimalists wear literally the same thing every single day. And while that may be true for some minimalists, it certainly doesn't really align with my goals and my happiness, for lack of a better word. But when it comes to this entire series of learning minimalism, one of the core goals that I have is to simplify my life in general and to remove decision-making complexity. I'll link the last video right over here, but in general, that last video is explaining the very embarrassing relationship that I have with clothes since I was a teenager. Primarily, that as somebody who became obsessed with sneakers and owned upwards of 100 pairs, all of my clothing decisions were based on matching with all the sneakers that I had, which ultimately meant that every single day, I had so many decisions to make just based on what to wear. And so one of the goals with this new minimalist wardrobe is to ensure that although there is variety, every single bottom would match with every single top, would match with every single hat, would match with every single pair of shoes. This way, it essentially completely removes any kind of decision-making complexity. I can roll out of bed, grab any pair of pants and any top, and just know without even thinking that they're gonna match. The other goal of this new minimalist wardrobe that I put together was to ensure that it worked with my laundry schedule. My aim is to do laundry once a week, no more, no less. And so planning this wardrobe around this very finite target of doing laundry once a week also helped me when it came to the planning phase. And so with the two core goals out of the way, removing decision-making complexity and fitting inside of my laundry schedule, let's move right into section 2 of this video, which was absolutely vital before putting together this minimalist wardrobe, which is understanding how I actually use different types of clothes week over week. After sitting down for just 10-15 minutes, I realized that there's a pretty clear split. 60%, 30%, and 10%. I'll bring up the graphic right here. But essentially 60% of the time, I am at home, whether it's sleeping, just chilling out at home, or doing exercise. And if I'm at home, I want to be as comfortable as possible. So really, all I technically need are a pair of sweatpants and a t-shirt. There's definitely more, but this category, surprisingly to me, is 60% of the time that I spend wearing clothes. 30% of the time is for when I have to go out and look presentable to some degree. And I'm just going to classify this as business extreme casual. Because of the nature of my work, jeans are totally okay, golf shirts are totally okay, and sneakers are also totally okay. And so I'm very fortunate in this regard because the clothes that I have to wear when I go to meet with clients is the exact same clothes that I can wear when I go out with friends, do groceries, or whatever. So again, this business extreme casual represents 30% of the time that I spend with clothes. The final 10% are just special events, for lack of a better word. Whether we're talking about like weddings, concerts, going on dates, or for just a few pieces of clothing that I just really love and I just don't feel comfortable letting go of yet. Understanding this breakdown when it comes to the time that I spend with all the different types of clothes that's possible really helped me to plan for this desired minimalist wardrobe. And with that out of the way, I was able to comfortably move on to section 3 of this video, which is the actual wardrobe itself. So when it came time to plan for the wardrobe itself, I wanted to plan against failure. What I mean by this is, yes, even though 60% of the time I would technically just need a pair of sweatpants and a t-shirt, I knew that there are some weeks, every single day, Monday to Friday, I might actually have to go see a client. And so at the very least, I would need at least 5 work acceptable outfits. And so I wanted to start with that section since work itself is my livelihood. Now, I bucketed this 30% section by combining both work acceptable outfits as well as just general going out, hanging out with friends and family, that type of thing. And so bringing right up this wardrobe over here, when it comes to that 30% section, I needed 5 work acceptable pants, 5 work acceptable shirts, 2 work acceptable sweaters. And because this is both for work as well as just going out, I wanted 2 shorts that were suitable for going out, 3 graphic t-shirts. And by the way, these 3 t-shirts that I have here, I designed myself and I'll make a video about them soon. But going right along, I'd also need 2 hoodies that were suitable for going out. And because here in Toronto, Canada, we have some gnarly winters, I'm gonna include jackets in this category as well. So I definitely need a winter parka, a raincoat, one denim jacket, one light jacket, one light jacket with a hood, as well as one blazer. And so these 25 items encompass 30% of the use cases of clothing. Once I had the whole work and livelihood thing figured out, it was time to move on to the largest chunk of time spent with clothes, that's 60%, which in general is just what I would wear at home, exercise, as well as super casual outings and errands like groceries or whatever. And so for this category, I'll bring up the wardrobe again. I just needed one pair of house-only pants. So these pants are pants that I would only wear after I take a shower. Then I need 2 pairs of sweatpants for exercise purposes, 2 pairs of shorts for exercise purposes, 2 tops that were suitable for just lounging at home as well as exercise, as well as this one exercise top that has a hood. And this is one of those very rare things that I'm keeping that has an athletic logo on it. And I just found it super interesting that this 60% chunk of clothing that I need, there are just 8 items that are necessary to fulfill all of these needs. And now moving on to that final 10% of clothes, which is all about special events, as well as a few items of clothing that I just really love or have like a sentimental relationship to, whatever the case might be. But bringing it up here right now, you can see here now that I've decided just to keep 1 suit, 2 neckties, 2 white collared shirts. Moving on to other special events, namely how much I love Toronto sports. I'm going to be keeping a Raptors jersey and a Blue Jays jersey as well. And the last 3 items inside of this 10% category are just items that I don't actually need to keep, but I just really, really like them a lot. And the thought of just getting rid of them made me unhappy enough to just decide to keep them. And so this top one is an Astro Boy t-shirt. And my connection here is that since I was really, really little, my father would always tell me that this was his favorite cartoon when he was growing up. The second item here is just this basketball jersey, and I just think the design's really cool. And the last item that I just really like is this crew neck sweater that says Brooklyn Zoo on it. And for the hip hop heads out there, if you know, you know. Now, even though I've gone through the 60-30-10, which encompasses technically 100%, there still are a few more categories which still add to the tally of the total amount of clothes that I have. So to go into the first of these sections is socks and underwear. I'm going to be keeping 10 pairs of socks as well as 10 pairs of boxer briefs. And you may be thinking, what the heck? You said you're going to be doing laundry once a week. Why do you need 10 of each? And the reason is maybe a bit TMI, but I sweat a lot in the summer. And some days, not every day, but some days in the summer, if I go out quite a bit, do a bunch of errands, I end up showering twice a day. And so I just want an extra 3 pairs of each for those buffer days where I end up taking multiple showers. Moving on to the next category of shoes, and as you may remember from that video where I counted and took a photo of everything that I own, I had at that point 33 pairs of shoes, and I've cut them down to 5 pairs. Sticking with the goal of removing decision-making complexity and being able to match any outfit, these 5 pairs of shoes will accomplish that. There are 3 pairs of white sneakers. The first pair is this white pair of leather shoes, which is just really easy to clean. So these are the shoes that I might wear if it's kind of like a little bit rainy or whatever. The second pair of white sneakers are these white sneakers that have a cloth upper. And I just like these just because of the sheer comfort, and I just like the streamlined look that they have. The third pair of white shoes are these beaters, and these are the ones that I'm going to be wearing if I go to the park to do some exercise. And also, I think it's nice to have a pair of sneakers that you really don't care about. The fourth pair of shoes are these brown, more dressy shoes, which I can wear with my suit for any kind of formal outing. And the last pair of shoes are these sneaker boots. I wouldn't need this pair of shoes if I lived in warmer climates, but because of the ice and snow in the winters here, I just need a pair of shoes that have a waterproof lining that I can wear on winter days. And the absolute last category here are the accessories like hats and bags. For hats, I'm keeping 4 hats, a Blue Jays cap, a Raptors cap, and 2 caps that will match with any outfit that I choose, because I'm one of those people that wears a hat every time I go out. And finally, onto bags. And I'm keeping 3 bags. An everyday carry sling, a laptop bag, and an overnight bag. And I love this overnight bag because it actually has these stowawayable straps that can turn it into a backpack as well. So it's really, really convenient. And now we're officially done with the tally. And I can't believe it, really coincidental, I didn't plan this out as well. I went from 275 items of clothing down to 75, which means I have minimized by exactly 200 items. Now, even though that's quite a large amount of minimizing, I think that some people might look at these 75 items and say, dude, that's not minimalist at all. That's still a lot of clothes. But as I spent the past few weeks going deeper and deeper into the research rabbit hole about minimalism, I'm starting to learn that minimalism at its core is self-defined. The actual number of things doesn't really matter. Ultimately, the self-definition of minimalism and what a minimalist wardrobe or minimalist number of things in total that you own comes down to that intersection of matching simplicity with your own happiness. And when it comes to clothes, the only thing I have to do now is figure out what I'm going to be doing with these 200 items that I no longer plan to keep. I actually almost forgot. There is one outfit that I did not include in this video. It's an outfit that I'm going to keep. It doesn't really match with any of this stuff, but it's an outfit that is so important to me. And I'm going to be making a dedicated video about that. But for now, if you got value out of this video, be sure to hit like and subscribe. If you have any questions or want to debate anything, hit up the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.